What's going on, y'all?
You know what that means? You meditate, you chant, and you call one of these UFOs to show up. And he's got video of them. They'll be in different locations. They'll be out in the desert, be up on a mountain, they'll be out near a beach somewhere, any place where man is not.
Whoa.
And they'll all chant, they'll all harmonize, they'll all empty their mind, they'll all go into meditation, and they'll do a Merkaba meditation. All of a sudden, the UFOs show up. I'm telling you, that day is going to happen. And every scientist who right now says there's no ET evidence anywhere, they're going to see them and they're going to believe it. They're going to fall for it. There's going to be preachers that fall for it. They're going to be church members that are going to fall for this. They're going to think that these are the saints or that these are somehow the saviors of mankind. Every religion is going to be altered to this new religion. Every single one of them. The only ones not affected by this are going to be the saints of God.
I look at the 22nd and it's like, okay, tomorrow's I get my food stamps or something like that. Food stamps to buy some food, and then, was it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, and then a few more days, like 8 more days I get paid.
Those who believe what God said. These angels are going to appear and they're going to say, we're Christ. We're the anointed ones. We're here to save your planet. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. And they're building up for that date. What else have I got to show you here? Here we go. Look at this one. Let's see here. Millions of years ago, this frozen dragon, flying reptile as big as a fighter jet, soared over the earth. They've discovered one of the largest flying animals to have ever lived. I'm just grinning. I'm laughing. A huge, fearsome reptile that ruled the skies more than 70 million years ago. Now, that part you can't believe. I don't know why part of this article is truncated. Part of it's... there we go. I don't know what happened. Hang on here. There, that's better. Scientists say they dubbed Cryodracon boreas. Dracon. You know what that word means? Dragon. Flying dragons. They found the fossilized skeletal remains of a flying dragon. That's what that name means. Cryodracon boreas, which translates roughly to frozen dragon of the north wind. It's from the north. Do you know? Where did the chariot come from that Ezekiel saw? See, I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Where does Jeremiah constantly say, multiple times, the army of the evil army is going to come from? They're going to come from the north. The Boreas, the Arctic Circle. There is no country up there at the North Pole. There is no land up there.
I can watch this later because this one guy's video got me wanting to play Minecraft after I got it off. Oh. Have to do that one later. Oh, Legion V, go check out his channel, you guys. He's so fucking cool. I love this guy.
On day 28, I stifled my whimpering and crying long enough to walk through the nether portal. Until I get full enchanted diamond armor, I will be terrified of the nether. Every single thing here is out to get me, so I wanted to quickly get what I needed, then go home. I tried to collect what resources I could while I was here, and also play hide and seek with a ghast. My typical strategy when I start in the nether is to not get lost. To that end, I'll typically pick a direction and move in a straight line either by building across gaps or placing torches on the ground as breadcrumbs leading back to my portal. Whenever I found something unsafe, like a lava stream, I legion-proofed it to avoid accidents. Eventually, when my path opened up and I had a clear view ahead, I noticed something. A single turret sticking up through the ground from another fortress. This is what I was looking for, and I guess I found one? I only noticed the one small part, but it should work. I built my way down, and what do you know? There was a blaze spawner on top of the turret I had spotted. I needed to be quick and grab a few blaze rods before I got overwhelmed. As you can see, it wasn't going great, but I wasn't dead yet, so that was good.
Check out Legion V, he's
I kept
cool.
smacking these spicy candelabras until one was kind of...
Spicy candelabras. Genius. I fucking love this dude, he's cool.
Greetings, citizens. This is how I survived 100 days in an ocean-only... There are so many of them in there. Oh my good. All good. I do need to keep up on the bamboo. You can see we haven't done that in a bit, and I came prepared this time. And lit the portal. On day 28, I stifled my whimpering and crying long enough to walk through the nether portal. Until I get full enchanted diamond armor, I will be terrified of the nether. Every single thing here is out to get me, so I wanted to quickly get what I needed, then go home. I tried to collect what resources I could while I was here, and also play hide and seek with a ghast. My typical strategy when I start in the nether is to not get lost. To that end, I'll typically pick a direction and move in a straight line either by building across gaps or placing torches on the ground as breadcrumbs leading back to my portal. Whenever I found something unsafe, like a lava stream, I legion-proofed it to avoid accidents. Eventually, when my path opened up and I had a clear view ahead, I noticed something. A single turret sticking up through the ground from another fortress. This is what I was looking for, and I guess I found one? I only noticed the one small part, but it should work. I built my way down, and what do you know? There was a blaze spawner on top of the turret I had spotted. I needed to be quick and grab a few blaze rods before I got overwhelmed. As you can see, it wasn't going great, but I wasn't dead yet, so that was good. I kept smacking these spicy candelabras until one was kind enough to drop me a blaze rod. I hung around a bit longer to see what I could collect before I got too scared, and that number turned out to be 3. I didn't want to be flash fried just yet, so I ran back to safety. When I emerged from my nether portal, this isn't right. It drives me nuts when this happens. For whatever reason, my portal didn't link back up to the overworld correctly back at my base. I spawned in somewhere underground in a random cave. There wasn't much I could do, so I began digging up to figure out where I was. When I emerged, I appeared to be underwater somewhere. I knew I'd be coming this way again, so I marked out the ground with a pillar of cobblestone, so I could stop the flow of water down into my staircase leading to the portal. Fortunately, I could see my base from where I was, so I swam back home to relative safety, and organized all the loot I had brought home from the nether. On day 29, I started prepping for villager cures. I'd need splash potions of this. I'd need fermented spider eyes, which you can craft using sugar, a spider eye, and a brown mushroom. I'd also need gunpowder to make it a splash potion. I needed the blaze rods to make blaze powder in order to build my brewing stand. I made some bottles of water for my potions and got to brewing. I'd also need golden apples, so I used what gold I had to make one. Now that I had what I needed, I went to say hi to my buddy, Zombie Villager. I opened up his cave a bit because I have terrible aim, then threw the splash potion of weakness at him and fed him the golden apple. I was a bit worried because he was supposed to have particle effects around him to indicate the cure was working, but I heard the proper noises, so I think it just has something to do with my Optifine settings. One of my iron golems was sad about the cure because he wasn't able to Hulk smash the zombie in his territory. Maybe next time, but I stood around waiting for the cure, and then, bonk, I had cured my first zombie villager. I didn't have a farmer to trade with yet, and I wanted to turn my farms into emeralds. So I locked this guy into a farmer for lower produce trades and released him from his boat. It was nighttime, so he ran to the villager breeder beds instead of his stall, and honestly I wasn't willing to fight him on this, so I left him there. Now that I had a farmer villager for trades, I thought it would be a good idea to plant pumpkin seeds. Once I maxed out trades on potatoes and beetroot, I wanted to be able to use the pumpkin trades for additional emeralds. While I was running around, I noticed my iron golem left me an ender pearl as a present. You shouldn't have. And speaking of iron golems, while I was prepping for my next librarian villager, I heard a golem getting damaged. I went to see what was up, and Dingus McGee over here had gotten stuck under a low roof of the villager breeder. Looks like he got it figured out eventually, but I guess there's not much room for a brain in that big noggin. I started re-rolling my new librarian, and this was taking forever. He refused to give me what I wanted, Unbreaking 3. He insulted me by offering Unbreaking 1, then after tons more re-rolling, Unbreaking 2. I was slightly tempted, but I kept rolling, and finally, he gave me Unbreaking 3. Jerk. I quickly bought the enchantment and added it to All Reliable. This was going to save me tons of experience mending my pickaxe since durability would go down slower. The last thing I wanted to do today was create an auto composter. I wouldn't want to keep all my produce long term, and I could always use the bone meal, so I did a simple setup using hoppers to feed anything I wanted to compost from a chest into a composter, and then another hopper to fill a chest with bone meal. On day 31, I harvested sugarcane to make some additional paper for trades with my nerds. There was a slight chance if I leveled these boys up, they would unlock enchantments that I wanted so I didn't have to roll for them on a new villager. I then went down to my mine to grab a bucket of lava for entirely innocent reasons. When I got back to the surface, I accidentally dropped the lava next to an iron golem. What's even worse is that I timed picking the lava back up poorly, so I burned any iron that the golem dropped. I decided to accidentally try one more time, this time dropping the lava higher up to avoid burning any drops. But of course, right before the golem died, he climbed up onto a composter just to make sure any iron drops would be consumed by lava. What a guy. I went back to the geode part of my mine to collect the gold I saw here when I first discovered this cave. I wanted to explore further into this part of the cave, and I was feeling a bit more confident now with full iron armor, a shield, and an iron sword. I was doing fine until I got to this one part where I tried to make a staircase up and see what was over this rise. Every time I tried to climb up, something was waiting around the corner or falling from a higher place. And every time my health got low and I had to retreat to eat and heal. Even to the point of hiding in this small area so I had time to heal. What did I ever do to these mobs? I continued to mine my way up and do battle with any who would stand in my way. As I continued to dig out of the cave, I found the surface. I took a look around, and I wasn't far at all from my base. I came out right near the mini jungle biome. I got right to it, smelting all the iron ore I'd collected while mining. On day 34, I looked at my villagers and decided they'd be a whole lot more likable if their trades were lower. I grabbed a couple that I had been using for paper trades and enchantments, broke their job locks, and had them jump into a boat. I then rode them into their new temporary Airbnb. I could tell they loved it.
I love that.
I waited until night, and into their new temporary Airbnb. I could tell they loved it. I waited until night until I could find some zombies, but these wannabe Zubats started pecking at me, reminding me that sleep was important, and it had been too long since I got some seeds. I shooed them away, then led a couple zombies into the cave where my volunteers were waiting in their boats. Once my nerds were zombified, I followed the same process of throwing a potion of weakness at them, then feeding them golden apples to cure. I played with the Optifine settings and fixed the particle effects, so now I could see that the cures were working. I took a close look at this nerd, and bam, there we go. Cured villager. I checked his trades, and the Unbreaking enchantment went from 27 emeralds to 2. I'd call that a win. Mending was down from 26 to 1 emerald, so I stocked up on as many books as I'd need for the foreseeable future. I decided to enchant my shield so I wouldn't need to continue making more, and it needed a name. I thought for a bit, but the only thing that came to mind was Stonewall Jackson. Don't judge me, you think of a better name. At night, I wrestled to get my goobers back into their stalls, but for whatever reason, they couldn't make up their minds on which one looked better. I had to remind them that they were exactly the same, and they finally picked a bed and went to sleep. On day 35, I re-rolled librarians all day long. Just have a look, see how this was going for me.
Try to make a medieval orc village or a human
I
village.
continued rolling, but I wasn't coming up with anything. I was hoping for efficiency, but I'd take enchantments for my sword, prot 4 for my armor, whatever. But they kept giving me garbage at every roll. I eventually settled for Fortune 2 for my pick, but I was getting low on emeralds. I went back to my farmer to cash in my hard work on the farm, and got a decent amount stocked back up. The next day, I went back to rolling librarians, and this time I got efficiency 1. I refused to combine that many books just for efficiency 5, so the only option was to keep refreshing for trades. At this point, I was desperate after being at this for 4 days straight, so when I saw efficiency 3, I decided to go for a trade. I could settle for combining 2 of these and using efficiency 4 on my tools, which was still a big help. I made the efficiency 4 book, then combined it with the fortune 3 I had made earlier, then went to add the new enchantments to Old Reliable, but of course, I didn't have enough levels. I went out to collect produce and make more paper for trades, and then stopped by all my various trade monkeys to sell what I gathered. The emeralds were nice, but I was doing it to get experience I'd need in order to finish my enchants on Old Reliable. I ended up with 17 levels at the end, which was 1 more than I needed to enchant my pickaxe. I put them both into my anvil, and just about maxed out what I wanted on my pickaxe. What are you doing out here? Bloop. Day 40. You know what it's time for. I needed to go take the new and improved Old Reliable out for a spin. I started strip mining, and I did end up finding a few diamonds. I got very nervous, though, as I was about to mine them, because I could see lava dripping from the ceiling. I very gingerly started mining around it, ready to run or close up any area that started spewing lava on my head. If I counted correctly, there was a beefy 7 vein of diamonds. With the beautiful fortune 3 now on my... It's a beefy 7 vein of diamonds. And with the beautiful fortune 3 now on my pickaxe, that turned into 17 diamonds total. I was very pleased. On day 41, I started gathering some resources for a build I wanted for my base. You can probably guess what I have in mind based on the building blocks, chests, hoppers, and trapdoors. I thought a mob grinder would be a good addition to start getting some random mob drops and help with XP for enchantments. I wanted to build it a decent distance from my base, and also high enough in the air that I could hopefully avoid mobs on the ground and in caves taking up my mob cap. I built up over the water near my nether portal, carrying, I hope, all I would need to get this set up. I started with a small platform where I placed my mob drop collecting chests, hoppers to automatically collect, and the beginning of my mob dropper shift. As I started to build up, and sorry, don't get dizzy, the sun was rising on day 42. I went up, I think, about 21 blocks so that the fall damage wouldn't insta-kill mobs, but they should be weak enough to Falcon Punch them to death if I wanted. From there, I built 8 blocks out on every side for water pathways, and put up walls around each path. I didn't realize it at the time, but like most of the times I build a mob grinder, I forgot to build this wall up too high instead of 1. I filled in the floor where mobs would spawn, put up walls around the area, and began placing trapdoors. I made an infinite water source so I wouldn't have to keep going down for more, and placed the water into the channels. There was some voodoo magic going on here, and the water hit an invisible wall. This was when I realized I had made the channels too short. I started to remove the trapdoors I had just finished installing, and started building up the second floor layer. I wanted to finish, but Phantom spawned in to tell me to take a break. I I jumped over the side, leaving a water elevator to get back up, and went to bed. When I got back the next day, I finished removing the trapdoors and increasing the height of my floor. I tested the water to make sure it ran all the way to my droppy hole without going over, and then satisfied it was working, did the rest. I finished up by using slabs for my ceiling so no mobs should spawn on top, reinstalling the trapdoors, which, by the way, I'm still not 100% certain of the purpose of these trapdoors. I think I kind of know now. I always just used to put them in because I saw other Minecrafters doing it, but now I think it's because it makes the mobs more easily walk into these channels so they can flow down the water in the chute. But, you know, I know everybody else does it, so I figure there must be a point. I removed my water elevator and rode it back down to my base. I climbed back up to see how the mob grinder was doing, and it was working great. Mobs were already loaded in, ready for a slicing and dicing, and I had a functioning mob grinder. On day 44, I realized I had unintentionally also made a pretty solid vantage point for my base while making the mob grinder. I'd be coming up here every once in a while to see how my base was progressing overall. With that done, it was back to trading with my goobers for emeralds and experience, and while I was doing this, I kept hearing endermen even though I didn't see any anywhere in my base. I eventually figured out they were spawning in a ravine I had covered up early on, so I went down to light up the area and do some friendly sparring with the endermen. I used some of the emeralds and experience I was getting from trades to begin combining mending and unbreaking books. I was going to need at least 7 or 8 of these total, so I wanted to get them all ready now. I took a gold hunting detour to the nether so I could be prepared for more golden apples, then forgot when I got back that my portal came back into the overworld in the wrong spot. I began climbing my stairs, grumbled about
I need
the
to see
good
if I
old days when
got,
other
what's
portals worked, and used some ladders to get back out of my cobblestone chute that ascends through the ocean to bring me back
I need
home.
to see if I got more,
I ended up finding
potatoes.
enough gold nuggies to craft 3 more golden apples, thank you Fortune 3. I used a bed as bait to abduct some friends from my villager breeder. Nothing nefarious, we were just going for a nice row over the grass.
I forgot to tell you guys, my TV is on my table I'm borrowing from my grandma,
decided to lie down on the
but I actually got
to
it,
come with me for a boat ride.
my TV up, elevated.
Nice things.
It's
When I
crazy.
broke the bed, the villager took damage, and I thought I had accidentally hit him. I
So I'm
prepared for
gaming in a
death by
different
Iron
way.
Golem, but the sweet embrace of the void never came. I guess the bed must have hit him somehow, but I was safe, and I went back to trapping villagers in boats. I ended up with 3 villagers so I could cure them all at once, with a second cure for 2 of them. I gave them all new zombie best friends and let them snack on the villagers long enough to turn them green. At this point, you know the drill. Chuck a potion, give them golden nom-noms.
Num num.
Once cured, my farmer was offering 1 emerald for 3 beetroot trades. I'm not sure why I don't see more people choose this trade with farmers. Seems like it's always pretty easy to get near 1-to-1 trades for beetroot, and the stuff literally grows out of the ground. That's a good deal in my book. The Stick Boys trades were okay, but I need more work on them. So back to infecting them for a second time and curing once more. When I was finished, I got them all lined up for Nighty Night, and you guessed it, he didn't walk literally 1 block to get into the bed next to him. He walked all the way over to try to steal my bed. I'd kind of expected this, so I broke the bed. He then threw a fit and jumped back into the boat just to be a jerk. I tried my other Fletcher, who is no longer a Fletcher. I did something wrong, and now this guy wanted a new job block. Whatever, I just wanted them all in their stalls, and then I'd be able to figure it out in the morning. The next day, I played musical job blocks with this villager for a little while until I was able to get him back to the stall with the proper fletching job. Back by my chests, a villager appeared out of nowhere, no idea where he came from, and decided to take a job as a mason. I broke the stone cutter, so he ran over to a composter so he could start wrecking all of my farms. Unfortunately, he stepped on my rare, spicy fire pumpkins and caught fire. It couldn't be helped, nothing I could do. On day 48, I started trading some of the sticks I had been saving up for a while. I wanted to make more tools and start enchanting, so I'd need XP. I started with an axe. I crafted a new diamond axe and brought it to my anvil to enchant and name. And give me a break. I hit a creative block, so choppy boy it is. I went back to grab my subpar Efficiency 3 books, combined them, and added efficiency 4 to Choppy Boy. I took it for a spin, and once again, this was so much better than my old iron axe. I went back to the mines and actually had a really successful trip. I continued strip mining and found a few different diamond veins. Even when I found a single diamond ore, Fortune 3 turned that into 4 diamonds. I will take that for sure. I counted up my riches so far and moved on. So I wanted to show this whole thing because it looks so fake, but I promise you I did not plant any of these diamonds here. I was running through a cave and stopped because I heard mobs through the wall. I figured there might be a spawner, so I turned to mine my way in and check. Literally right behind where I was mining was a 6 vein of diamond. I would never have found it if I didn't just decide to check out random noises. At the end, I was happy with my trip after finding a total of 23 diamonds with Fortune 3, so I started to head back. When I got back, I got organized. Space in my chest was starting to become a problem, and kind of messy, but I wanted to wait until I built an actual house before I worried about organizing any storage. I took out all of the diamonds I had to see if there was enough to build a full set of diamond armor. I placed it in my inventory in the configurations of each piece of armor, and it looked like I was in good shape. I could make armor, a sword, and a shovel, and still have 17 diamonds left over. On day 50, I realized my 100-day journey was halfway over. I surveyed what I had built so far, and honestly, I spent a ton of time so far on villager trades, not so much on building my base. The next 50 days I'd work on that a bit. I wanted to keep making and enchanting diamond tools, so I went around my base and harvested what produce I could. I went to trade with my farmer for those sweet beetroot and pumpkin trades, and created a diamond shovel. I put my shovel into the anvil to add mending and unbreaking, and came up with the perfect name, Scooby-Doo. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure I heard a very soft, collective ruh-roh from all the dirt I still needed to terraform near my base. I added efficiency 4 to Scooby-Doo and took it out for a test drive. I have to say, I know it doesn't take much to mine dirt regularly, but there's something about getting the first tool that can insta-mine any block. I was absolutely enjoying myself as I continued my terraforming adventures around the base. I placed a couple chests for the sole purpose of holding dirt. I wanted to clear out this entire back area of my land that I was surveying from the viewpoint at my mob grinder. Eventually, I wanted to use an idea that I had to build my home on this larger area, potentially into the cliffside, so I could build a partial underground area to my home. I wasn't quite sure yet, but I knew I'd get use out of this area if I was able to flatten it out. Scooby-Doo was a bit worse for the wear, so I went to do some trades for the experience to mend it back up a bit. After that, I got back to my grueling work of making all my dirt say jinkies. I was still hard at work when I started to hear the sounds of villagers being attacked. Something was definitely wrong because I wasn't holding my villager disciplining mallet, and I wasn't wearing my villager stomping boots. I went back to take a look, and somehow this little ankle-biting jerk not only spawned with all my torches around, but found its way into my villager stalls to attack the librarians I had worked so hard to get. I went to check the damage and found that the baby zombie had taken enough nibbles to infect 3 of my villagers in the short time it took me to walk over. Well, whatever. I guess this gives me an unprompted opportunity for some zombie villager cures, which would net me better trades in the future. I went to check my inventory, and unfortunately for one of my zombie friends, I could only make 2 golden apples. Nah, I can't leave them hanging. You know this means we have to go back to the nether for more gold. I prepped the villagers by putting them in boats and entered my nether portal. The trip was uneventful for the most part. I found a few gold veins, mined what I found with Fortune 3, and headed back to my broken nether portal so I could start the trek back home. I wrapped up the day by crafting the last golden apple that I'd need. Day 54, and I started the next round of curing. In with the potion of weakness, and down the hatch with more golden apples. More than they deserve.
I need to go get,
I checked the trades, and
I want to get some more gold, so.
I was going to be able to get more emeralds in the future, and get to fully enchanted gear sooner. I needed to wait for night so I could break the boats and let my villagers go back to their beds without any incident. Yeah, right. I decided to spend the time clearing out more of the dirt at the back of my base since I was nearing completion of this project. Some areas got down to cobblestone, so I cleared it out and replaced the dirt blocks to make the whole area more consistent. At night, I broke the boats, and it's an absolute miracle. all the villagers went straight to bed without trying to steal a different bed or go on walkabout throughout my base. On day 55, I wanted to wrap up most of the latest terraforming project. I filled in the remaining dirt, cleaned up my inventory, and did enough trades to bring Scooby-Doo back up to a durability level that I was comfortable with. At sunset, I ascended to my viewpoint to look at my progress, and I was pleased. This is plenty of room to complete at least one build in this 100 days, plus additional in my next 100 days. Day 56 was about security. The ankle biter zombie shook me to the core, so I enchanted my first diamond sword so if he came back, I could give him the old razzle-dazzle. I also wondered how it evaded my torchlight in order to spawn, so just in case it ran in from outside of my base area, I decided to build a wall around the perimeter. And yes, I felt very American doing this. On day 57, it was time to make good on a promise I made about 50 days ago. I wanted to clear an area I was off to the side of my base for a new barn, mainly so I didn't have to hear that moving and stomping constantly while working on other things. You may be saying, but Legion, why make a barn when you don't even have a house yet? You've been at it for over 50 days. And you're not wrong. But you have to remember, every good legionary knows the value of their beasts of burden. You have to treat them right if you want to keep eating cheeseburgers for dinner every night. I went pretty traditional for this build, using logs for the support beams to get my hand back, and different types of deep slate that I had cut in stone cutter for the walls. I had been stockpiling torches from villager trades, so I'd be using those in any future builds around the torches. I was liking how the barn structure was turning out so far, but I really hated what comes next, the roof. I hate making a roof on any structure because I know I will get it wrong. I unclenched my butt cheeks and got to work. At first glance, it doesn't look bad, but there was still some time for
Clutched in my butt cheeks. Hold on, let me hear that shit again.
I really hated what comes next, the roof. I hate making a roof on any structure because I know I will get it wrong. I unclenched my butt cheeks and got to work.
Unclenched my butt cheeks.
At first glance, it doesn't look bad, but there was still some time for something to get messed up. For the interior, I made 4 large pens. Right now, I only had sheep and cows, but I wanted it to be ready in case I wanted to get pigs or chickens in the future. These should be large enough to hold what I need, and I think all my buddies are going to like it. Speaking of buddies, it was time to move them into their new home. I started with the sheep, and as I opened the floodgates, I knew there was no way I'd get 100% of these wool factories into the new pen, but I got enough in to be comfortable, knowing I could always recover the population through breeding, and I went out to cull the stragglers. For the cows, I thought it would be easier to magically turn a few into steaks before I opened the gate. This way I only had to lead a few over to the new pen. I was able to wrap up the process after a couple trips back to tempt them with succulent wheat, and now we were totally good to go. Boop. I finally noticed it. I did screw up. One side of the roof ends at a lower point than the other. I'll fix it. Day 59. I tried, guys, I really did. You probably noticed that redoing the roof didn't help. Now it's still uneven, just in a different way. I'm finding it hard to care right now. You might be wondering why I'm putting up more walls around my villagers. I hear you saying, but Legion, you already put a wall up around your base. I'm sure your villagers are fine. Well, you would be wrong. Why didn't you warn me that apparently zombies still have very easy access to my villagers, and were happy to use them for a midnight snack? So anyway, I went back to the Nether to get more gold because I just love doing this. This is how I want to spend my pastime. Gathering gold nuggies in the Nether, crafting gold ingot, making more golden apples, using them to cure plebs. Yeah, that's like a Saturday night for me. In any event, I got more cheap enchanted book trades, stocked up on what I thought I'd need, and then almost as if the weather was acknowledging that the world was back to normal, the rain cleared up and the sun came out. I think I figured out the roof on the barn, and I added a couple details to the front. I liked the contrast between trapdoors and the wood blocks, and it was looking sharp. I put my sweet princes to bed, and expanded my building farm since I was burning through them like crazy with my trades. Things aren't looking too shabby at my base. Farms are doing okay, don't pay any attention to the barn with only the appearance of a roof from the front, that's not important, and I had plenty of open area to build. I made more combo, mending, unbreaking books since I had the levels for it, fed my animals to max out the new pen real estate, and played with the friendly birds that keep stopping by. I'm pretty sure I must have spilled breadcrumbs on my shirt or something and it keeps attracting them. No breadcrumbs for you. tonight, Boyds. I went back to
Well,
adding
the
to
way
my
it's like
ranks
an
of
audiobook.
librarians, or at least I would have if villagers knew how to function. I once again removed job blocks to hopefully fix the villagers, and stopped by to say hi to my friendly neighborhood Mandarin. I got back to my villagers, and I wasn't sure exactly what I was looking for, but when I saw Infinity, I thought, why not get a bow? It was day 61 by this point, and I haven't done any ranged combat. I bought the book, combined it with Unbreaking 3, and went to enchant my bow. Of course, I didn't have enough levels, so it was back to being American, buying things I didn't need. When I got enough levels, I enchanted my bow and decided to call it Pot Shot. You and I both know that I don't plan to play fair when I can attack from a distance. I took Pot Shot for a spin and finally got the Take Aim achievement after hours and hours of gameplay in this world. Yeah, kinda sad, I know. Unsurprisingly, the next librarian I got started by offering Infinity, the enchantment I literally just locked in with the previous villager. I kept rolling until I saw Protection 3, an enchantment I need for my armor. And yes, of course, I'd love it if one of these nerds offered me Protection 4 so I could get the max level in one go, but I was still having flashbacks about re-rolling these boys for 3 days straight, so I gave in, and I locked in the trade. I made my first Protection 4 book and placed it in my chest where I was planning out all the enchantments I'd like for my future armor. I still had a way to go, but eventually I'd need 4 of these. I finished the day by restocking books the easy way, purchasing bookshelves from boys, placing them down, and breaking them. I was starting to have an impressive collection of villagers for my capitalist empire. I actually wasn't sure if I wanted them in this configuration long term, or if I wanted to make something a bit more grand in the future. But once again, that's a future problem for future Legion. I cleaned up the place a bit, and put in what I hoped would be the last couple villager stalls for the foreseeable future to get what I needed for my gear. I offered the spaces to some willing volunteers, and then locked them in for their own safety. They can leave anytime they want, honestly. I was going to try to make this newbie villager work through the night, but I heard thunder and didn't want my whole market area here burning down. I ran back to bed to sleep in the rain. I really need to build a house soon. When I got back to it, we had another prison break. Not that this is a prison, I already told you they want to be here. Then this old boy decided to scale the walls like Ezio, almost as if he'd been planning this since he arrived in my married compound. I gave him points for ingenuity, but I did actually need him to come back and stop trying to take random jobs around the base. He nearly escaped again, but I finally got the situation under control. He ended up giving me efficiency 5, and this was a bit difficult. My tools already had efficiency 4 through my grueling work, and this guy swooped in with something I needed many days ago. Still, it could come in handy so I didn't have to keep combining books to level him up from efficiency 3. It is what it is. I locked it in so I could more easily get max levels on my tools. I continued to level the same villager to see what other trades would be offered, and he had the audacity to then offer me efficiency 4. Like I would ever need that now. And for double the price. You believe this guy? Anyway, I upgraded Old Reliable and went to work on the last villager. These two must have been conspiring, because this time, the new guy decided to give me the exact same 2 enchantments next to each other. I'm not even sure why that would be an option, but I was kind of numb to all of this by now. You know how I was hoping yesterday would be the last couple villagers? Well, I actually do need a bit more. So I added some protection to the other side of my market area, abducted 2 more volunteers from the breeder area, and I got to work. I'll spare you the details, but in the end I got some touch for a second pickaxe, and looting 3 for my sword. The end was in sight, but I was fresh out of volunteers. I made it rain more carrots for the last 2 villages available, and then felt incredibly awkward as they started making a baby before I had the time to leave. I hid in the corner, gently weeping while I waited for them to finish. I didn't have all the enchantments I'd need just yet, but I had plenty of diamonds, so I wanted to at least craft the gear. Even if I had no intention of wearing some basic, non-magical garments, I at least could organize everything in my chest, showing my intentions for what books needed to be combined with which armor pieces. Oh, this is going to take so many levels to enchant. On day 68, I was greeted by a newly spawned golem in a very unfortunate situation. It spawned too close to a low ceiling and couldn't seem to work out how to get out of this predicament.
What's going on, y'all?
I calmly watched all of this go down, and no, that's not weird at all. Are you helping? I don't see you doing anything about it. Well, doesn't matter now. Free iron is free iron.
Hurry up, damn you.
Day 69. Don't laugh. That joke is temporary. The glory of Rome is forever. I saved up enough delicious XP orbs to enchant my helmet at 23 levels. I was thinking of naming it Noggin Blocker, but it wasn't imperious enough. Noggin Guardian has a better ring to it. Next up was the chest plate, or as I like to call it, the Moo Plate. 13 more levels for that guy. I took a break, and while I was working on the farms, another drown tested me for superiority. No surprise that it wasn't up to the task, but at least this one did me a favor. It dropped me a trident. Now I have the power to challenge mighty Neptune. Or at least I would if I ever planned on using a trident. I'm always excited when I can get one, but I'm pretty sure I've never actually used one for practical purposes. On day 70, not a whole lot happened. Another day of fun rolling for enchantments all day long. The next day, however, was a good day for weapons. My luck was back and I was able to get both Power 5 and Sharpness 5 almost immediately, one after the other. I began by adding Sharpness 5 and Looting 3 to Razzle Dazzle to increase my damage and hopefully net me more mob drops. I was starting to feel good about my damage inflicting capabilities. It's important that armor is not only protective, but also functional and versatile. To that end, I made a new pair of tearaway chaps. All the boys love these. I was so close to a full set of enchanted armor, but I needed more XP. While I work on that, I have a fun fact for you. This is actually my first time playing a hardcore world for any length of time. I've been playing Minecraft for years now, but always in survival. I've been terrified to try hardcore because losing hours and hours of work would crush me. Making this video has made it easier because I at least have the video journey of my progress.
I'm gonna go to creative and
baby zombie
fix this, what do you call it?
In any event, I'm
Bow and
having a lot
arrow
of fun,
problem.
and I hope you are too. When I finished gathering XP, I enchanted my boots with a whopping 27 levels. But these were no ordinary boots. These were stompin' boots. You decide if I mean stompin' on Bugs boots, or it's Saturday night at 2 a.m. and your favorite song comes on stompin' boots. The time had come. I removed my, at best, equestrian level iron armor and took one last look at the mortal Legion V. I donned my new gear and reviewed all the various benefits, and now it's official. I am Augustus level Imperial in my new shiny protective shell. I went to test out Depth Strider, which makes me move more quickly underwater, and I was very happy that... Ooh, stab it in my mouth. Free sushi. I enchanted a second pickaxe with all the usual things, plus Silk Touch. I named it after that strumpet from across the Mediterranean that Mark Antony keeps going on about. Now, I've been in this world a very long time, and I've spent... Mark Antony keeps going on about.
Anthony.
Now, I've been in this world a very long time,
Mark
and I've
Anthony's
spent
got a singing voice. Beautiful voice.
Stars. While this isn't a problem for a legionary, I did think it was high time that I had a house of my own. I had plans to build it next to / under the hill behind my base, so I took Cleopatra's Silk to clear out the stone left over from earlier terraforming efforts. I wanted to use some for my new house, so it worked out well. I began to lay out the foundations of my new home in this cozy corner I had created, and used some blocks placed at certain intervals to keep things even. I'll typically make a mistake somewhere that makes me backtrack, so this was a way to attempt to avoid all of that. I tried a mix of deep slate and stone bricks around the base and doorways. I really liked the look of both, but I didn't want to go one solid color all the way through. I had a general idea of what I wanted, but for the most part, I was winging it, and going off what I organically thought of as I built. When it was getting late in the day, I started clearing out the dirt to get an honest floor laid out. And for the floor, again, I didn't want just a solid block all throughout. I tried out a few different things, switching between different blocks and various patterns, and worked my way toward the center as I experimented. I ended up with sort of a wood and stone mix with a big X in the middle. Let's say the X stands for exceptional, just like me. Obviously, I'd need to be able to watch for raiding parties, so I started to place glass blocks around my doorways for windows. I wanted it to be open and have a decent view of the outside whenever I was in my house, so I looked for a few ways to incorporate glass windows where I could, including a larger one facing the front of the structure. I was toiling away when I definitely got distracted by the night sky. Another reason I use shaders. There are some details and beautiful views that just don't come out in vanilla Minecraft. On day 76, I started working on the Hobbit Hole portion of my base. Well, not so much a Hobbit Hole as a convenient space I could use for my future storage solution. I started with a small room, then continued to dig. I wanted to see if this emerged anywhere that I could use as an escape tunnel or convenient path in this direction rather than climbing over the village hill. I ended up running into a cave, so I followed it out for a bit to see where it came out. While I was lighting up the area, I noticed a place further down and away that already had torches placed. This must have come out somewhere in my mind, I just wasn't sure exactly where. I didn't want to get distracted, so I ran back and kept working on the house. While I'm working on this, do you want to hear some interesting facts about Rome? Did you know that Romans believed that Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus, twin brothers abandoned at birth who were raised by wolves?
Yeah.
Here's another one for you. You know the Colosseum, the massive structure that had gladiator battles and stuff?
Yeah.
Did you know the Romans would flood the entire thing just so they could have boat battles as well? They would even add alligators to the water. Crazy Romans. One more for you. Romans used to wash their clothes with something kind of gross, and I'll give you a hint, it wasn't Tide Pods. Look this one up, I wouldn't want to smell the laundry in Rome. Anyway, back to it. I started on the storage room, and I wanted a way to
Wouldn't want to
organize
smell
and
the laundry.
identify what each...
I'm gonna look that one up. Hold on. I wouldn't want to smell the laundry in Rome. Didn't have soap or washboards. How did the Romans get their whites whiter? Uh. There's this one to write about doing laundry in ancient Rome. Why? Because our laundry machine broke. They found the natural internet doing great. There, man. Clothes in Roman times were not acquainted with soap, but they used in it instead different kinds of alkali by which the dirt was more easily separated from the clothes. Of these, by far was most common the urine of men and animals, which was mixed with the water in which the clothes were washed. Okay.
Chet. Wouldn't want to smell the laundry in Rome. Anyway, back to it. I started on the storage room, and I wanted a way to organize and identify what each chest was for. More good news for my cows, because I need to make a good amount of these item frames using leather. I started organizing in a general way, you know, stone blocks in one, wood items in another, so on and so on. I'd probably get more specific in the future. Once again, I got distracted like a squirrel by the pretty lights coming in through my skylight/upper floor. It was around then I noticed my hand looked different for some reason. I took a good look at myself and, oh my stars. It appears an evil enchanter of some kind cursed me and changed my appearance. It definitely wasn't that my Minecraft skins got screwed up somehow. I'm sure it'll resolve itself. I wanted to make a brewing station in my new house, even though I wasn't completely done building the house yet. I was itching for adventure, so I went back to the nether. I need a few more blaze rods and never actually got any nether wart, which I'll need for most potions, including a few I'd like to have for the ender dragon fight. I ran back to the nether fortress I found with a blaze spawner, and began by grabbing a couple blaze rods. I found my way into the rest of the fortress, and this place was big. I was worried about getting lost, so I used torches as my breadcrumbs, so I'd hopefully be able to find my way back. I encountered a wither skeleton or two in my travels, and though the wither wasn't on my hit list for this video, finding some wither skeleton skulls now certainly wouldn't hurt. That wasn't in the cards today, but nether wart was. I looted the room of all the nether wart and soul sand, so I could become something of a nether wart farmer myself. On the way out, I used pot shot to grab a couple more blaze rods just in case. and then engaged in mortal combat with this crossbow-wielding piggy blocking my path. He apparently didn't hear I had brand new enchanted armor and weapons. Once I got back home, I planted my nether wart in the little cubby beneath my stairs and packed away the other goods I had collected on my trip in my new storage bins. I had to rip off the band-aid on day 78 and get organized. I still had chests out by my old bedroom under the stars, and I needed to run back and forth a couple 2-tree times in order to transfer my existing goods into the new storage room. I of course needed to label as I went, which required more leather. Your sacrifice is not in vain, my children. I then did a bit of work in the apothecary corner. I built up enough for a novice chemist, with a brewing stand and a chest full of brewing ingredients, and carved a bit of room out on the ground so I had a place for a water source. It wouldn't be a lot of trouble to just make glass bottles, fill them with water over by the sea, and store them nearby, but I didn't want to get into the groove of brewing and realize I was out. This would let me fill bottles on the go like the busy working legionary I am. I was glad to have a sort of house. The fact that it was only half done made me a bit sad. It was looking good so far, though. I'd get it done soon, but first, the wanderlust hit me. I grabbed my boat for a short expedition along the coast
piece
to
of
see what
shit.
was nearby. While I was on my way, I noticed what could only be a shipwreck beneath the surface. I went to investigate and saw what the unfortunate seafarers had left for me. One chest was mainly stinky potatoes, the second wasn't bad. Kinda cool that I found emeralds, but at this point I had burned through hundreds in my feverish capitalism, so I was a bit underwhelmed. While I was out, I grabbed some kelp just in case. No plans yet, but eventually I may need it to make water elevators. Remember that single dark oak sapling earlier in the video? Well, I found a dark oak forest, so before I went back to base, I had to take part in some deforestation. Both for the land, trees had been coming, and also so I could finally grow some back at my base. And speaking of, I cleared out the trees I had seen with the aid of Choppy Boy to make room for the new guy in town. I planted my dark oak saplings, properly this time, gave it some powdered Red Bull for good measure, and started collecting some dark oak. I was beyond tired and fell from my trees to the ocean floor, and I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I probably went around laying down slabs in the tree growing area. This way I could just collecting everything and worrying about risking my life in the briny deep. On day 1, I got back to working on the house. I started adding some fences to the second level for safety and adding detail, and placed a few lanterns to light the place up. I wanted to build up the second level so it was almost like a mini tower, and I went with dark oak planks from the newly felled trees. I thought the change in planks would be a nice contrast rather than going with full stone or deep slate. As night descended, I decided to make some target practice. The mobs have been lined up for a perfect shooting gallery game. I also used some resources I'd been gathering to craft 12 eyes of it. Ideally, the end portal would have a few populated for me, but if not, I'd need 12 total. Actually, probably more, as a few will typically break while searching for the end portal, so I may need to make more of these later on. I did some maintenance on my small netherwort farm near my brewing station just to make sure that I was stocked up. I'd be using some of this in preparation for my battle with the Ender Dragon. In particular, slow-falling potions should come in handy. I went back down to the mine to do some more strip mining, both to collect deep slate that I'd use for bullets, and for the excitement of finding more diamonds. While mining, I actually found a vein of 2, with this little sneaky guy hiding for a total of 3. I decided to finally make a blast furnace to smelt my ores more quickly. I was going to throw in the iron I just found in my mine, but I think my brain stopped working for a minute because I put the iron ingot in instead of the iron ore. After a brain rewind, I got to harvest the rose of I planted in the villager trades, but the only tool I had silk touch on so far was my pickaxe. I'm 100% certain there's a better way to do this, but I'm too lazy to figure it out right now, so mining watermelons with a pickaxe it is. I went back down to the lava pool I had turned into obsidian to mine a bit more. I had an idea to create ender chests, so when I found the stronghold, I could have one ender chest at my base with any supplies I might need, then I could plop another one down closer to the stronghold and end portal for easy inventory management. I started today by eating Clarabelle's cousin right in front of her. Then a thought hit me. This looks like a beautiful morning for an expedition. I grabbed my Eyes of Ender, stood for a moment, looking majestic so my iron golem could gaze upon my majesty, and threw the first eye to get a bearing on the nearest stronghold. It sailed into the sky over my farms, leading toward the ocean. It looked like I was going on a sea voyage. I got in the boat and started rowing in the direction of the eye, and holy moly, there was nothing in any direction I could look. This is kind of like being in the center of the ocean with no land in sight in every direction. Not sure I've ever experienced that before in my life. Eventually, I followed the eyes to the shore by the coast. Around a couple times right by the shore until the eye went straight down, indicating I had found the stronghold. I made a bunch of ladders so I could dig down and have a way to get back up when I reached the appropriate depth. I was digging a 2-block wide hole so I could see a few blocks down before actually falling, just in case this opened up into a large cave or directly into a lava pool. Eventually my mineshaft did open up into an underwater cavern. I really didn't want to try to circumvent it, so I used the same trick as I did before for underwater caves. I gathered sand and started placing it around my mineshaft so that it would fall and build up a wall against the water on all sides. I then filled in the center to remove the water blocks, and then dug that sand back up to continue my hole without having to deal with the water. Once again, as I mined down, I hit an opening. This time there was a welcoming committee here to congratulate me on making it this far. I had found a mob spawner and mossy cobblestone room. I played with my new friends for a bit before I got tired of the game and told them we were done. I lit up the room to prevent any other mobs from spawning, and took a look in the chests. I was able to find my first music discs in these chests, which I will most likely never use, but cool stuff nonetheless. I noticed this cave went on in one direction, and I thought, why not light this up a bit before I keep digging to look for the stronghold? So I went down the path, opened it up a bit for clearance, and placed torches to keep any mobs from surprising me in the future. Near the end of this path, I noticed stone brick, and apparently my mineshaft was a bit off. This was actually the stronghold, so I was very lucky finding that mob spawner and looking down this pathway. If I hadn't, I would have missed the stronghold. Not only that, but the first room I found was actually the portal room. The stronghold can be pretty massive, so it can be a pain to find this room even after finding the stronghold, and it just so happened it was the first room I came across. I looked around a bit more and found a second mob spawner with chests, and it had some of the same music discs. Apparently the game wanted me to have backups in case I accidentally got scratches on one of the copies. I then looked at the end portal and yep, this is certainly my luck. Not a single Eye of Ender was pre-populated in the end portal. I don't know the exact chances, but these do have a chance to randomly spawn in with an Eye of Ender already there. Wasn't looking that way for me, so I would need the full 12 Eyes of Ender to activate this. I'd come back later to do that, but in the meantime, I started to organize my loot in the ender chest I had set up just outside the mineshaft. I'd need to head back home and get this all sorted, as well as complete some additional prep work before the Ender Dragon fight. At least I was all set with the location of the end portal now. On day 85, I went hunting Endermen in the Nether in order to stock up on Ender Pearls for additional Eyes of Ender. Even though I farmed any of these boys who visited the base up until now, I was still short. I crafted the 12 Eyes of Ender I'd need for the portal and stored them away. On day 86, I started brewing the potions that would make the Ender Dragon fight a bit safer. I began by putting my water bottles into the brewing stand and using some of the nether wart I had been saving to make awkward potions, which is the first step in most potions. I then added some phantom membranes that the friendly birds had been dropping for me. The result was potions of slow falling for when the Ender Dragon decides to send me flying. I then did the same thing using netherwort and blaze powder to brew potions of strength, which will make Razzle Dazzle pack even more of a punch. I then remembered that adding redstone to potions will increase the time of the effect, so I'd have to use fewer potions overall. It more than doubled the time each potion would last, so that's very helpful overall. I couldn't fight the Ender Dragon while my animals still had no roof. What if it rained when I was gone? They'd be so sad. So I finally got back to it, finishing up the roof to cover the whole barn area. By nighttime, I had finished the job and now it finally had a roof from all angles, not just while looking at it from the front. Since I was in roof building mode, I went back over to my house to start working on the roof of my tower. I wanted to follow through with the skylight theme I had for my second floor, so I experimented with a leveled roof and glass that would allow me to see the stars while working late at night. I also lit up the roof so I wouldn't have to hear mobs creeping around on the roof all the time. I actually liked how this was turning out from the interior. Nice design, and it lights up the place.
Oh,
From
wow.
the exterior, however, I wasn't really a fan. Something looked weird about it, and I think it has to do with the stone overhanging where it meets the dark oak. It doesn't look as bad from the high vantage point, but there's definitely some detail I need to fill in to make this look a bit better. Before the day was over, I started adding a bit more to the roof. I added a bit more overhang to the roof, and I think that's looking a bit better. But there's still something missing. Then it hit me. What makes every single build look 10 times better? That's right. I went through my tree farm wielding my shears of destiny and went absolutely ham collecting leaves. I got as many as I thought I'd need to improve the look of my house, then kind of spaced out watching the remaining leaves despawn as the day ended. I took the stacks of leaves over to my barn to add some detail there, and that did the same for my house. This is so much work. I don't know what it is, but as soon as you add leaves to a structure, it really pulls it all together and makes it look that much more detailed. On day 89, I walked around appreciating my new home. I could officially say I was now a homeowner, and maybe my parents will stop calling me a bum who sleeps outside every night with cows and sheep. In fact, I did such a great job that my new home was featured on a TV show. Welcome back to Better Minds and Gardens. Today we're walking through this beautiful seafront property within walking distance of the nearest village. This two-level recent development comes standard with skylights and easy access to a mine shaft for additional storage. This home is valued at 2,700 emeralds and is sure to be the envy of each and every villager. I wrapped up the day by heading back to the Nether to see if I could fix my broken portal. The extent of my plan was basically break the Nether portal that spawned in underground. Then I could head back through the portal into the Nether, and back again to see if it would now link back up with the one at my base. Long story short, the plan failed, and the underground portal just regenerated itself. Oh well. Day 90 was another chore day. I worked on my crops to get more produce, harvested my bamboo farm for more sticks, and went back to trade with the plebs to ensure that all of my gear was back up at full durability. I started day 91 by showing off my perfect aim at this ghast. I didn't miss once. I wanted to explore the Nether a bit more and collect some additional resources. While building across a cave, I decided that rather than going around this lava or blocking it off at the source, I would try to build a tunnel under it. Long story short, every single block I placed made this worse. What seemed like a simple task, I made a big issue. I was at this for an embarrassingly long time before I gave up and shot straight into the lava to just do what I should have done at the beginning. Block the stream so it couldn't fall onto me at all. When the lava cleared, I was able to see the single block that I missed that was full of idea. I went back home to organize the resources I had collected on my day trip to the Nether, and smelted the gold I was able to collect using Silk Touch, avoiding the process of combining gold nuggets into ingots. I did some quick trading, and then started to collect a few of the potions I created in anticipation of my upcoming boss fight. I realized I had a bit of time left before I hit 100 days, and I wanted to wait a bit before the Ender Dragon fight, so I decided to start on a quick side project. I started to clear off and then terraform the hill behind my house. I had something in mind, but I need a flat area to start. I checked out the sort of dirt pyramid I had created behind my house, and now it was all set to be the final thing I did after slaying the Ender Dragon. With that, I rode back over to the entrance of my hole that leads to the end portal, and went around clearing out the area of any trees. I may want to build a structure here in the future, so I wanted to have the space available. As the sun went down, I sat and watched all the leaves despawn once again because I enjoy the time lapses. That night I did some warm-up fighting with the mobs, and made an attempt to get an achievement by hitting a skeleton from a long way away. Look at that. Like I said, I have perfect aim. I finished the day by getting the Sniper Duel achievement. Day 96. This was finally the day. I checked off 2 of the goals I set at the beginning of these 100 days, and now it was time to conquer the 3rd. I placed 11 of the Eyes of Ender into the end portal, got interrupted by this little cockroach, then placed the final eye to activate the portal. I was mesmerized for a second by the look of the portal with shaders on. Ooh, pretty. I regained my wits and jumped in. Luckily, I brought wood blocks with me because I spawned off to the side outside of the end island. I started building across, and already the Ender Dragon was very upset with my presence. She started shooting me with spicy breath, so I jumped to the end island and bravely hid as I made sure I had full health. Some of the Endermen were also way too excited about my sudden appearance, so I had to calm them down with Razzle Dazzle. I started using my water bucket to climb up the pillars to punch the end crystals, so the Ender Dragon couldn't use them to heal. While up here, I used my impeccable aim to shoot a few more of these, then drink my potion of slow falling just to be safe. Somehow, immediately after, I got Dragon's Breath in my bottle, even though I didn't try. I'm just that good. I kept taking out the end crystals, floating down to the next few towers when I needed to, and kept using my water bucket to get at any end crystals that I couldn't reach with my bow. Eventually I destroyed them all, and started to hit the Ender Dragon with my bow. I did a decent amount of damage before she landed. I guess she was jealous seeing the Enderman get a taste of Razzle Dazzle and wanted a bit for herself. Because I'm a brave and stalwart legionary, I decided to attack her head on, not even bothering to get under her when it was safe. This was working fairly well, and I was doing a ton of damage, until she had enough and punted me into the air. My slow falling effect had expired, but luckily, it wasn't a long fall. I cleaned up some more Endermen that tried to step to me, and took aim for the final shot against the Ender Dragon. And with that shot, my goal was complete. I was now the master of this domain, and the Ender Dragon was no more. I was showered with tasty XP orbs in recognition of my accomplishment, which I gobbled up immediately. I went to collect the dragon egg as my prize by placing a torch and breaking the block beneath it. As it fell into the torch, I picked it up and got the next generation achievement. I bridged over to the portal, but this was going to be an adventure for the next 100 days. As I wrapped up in the end, I showed off my bad self with all my Enderman fans, and then jumped into the portal to return home. With all the goals I had set for myself complete, I had one last thing I needed to do before the 100 days were over. I crafted some stained glass that I'd be needing and began building up on the terraform hill I created before I went to the end. Let me know if you can tell what I'm building, but here's a hint. I needed something towering over my base that showed the whole world who had conquered this land. I kept building up using many of the various blocks I had collected over my 100 days. I also added lanterns to
Can't wait to
ensure
get the
no
new
mobs would infest
blocks.
my latest creation.
Copper doors. Woo.
I was close to wrapping up as the final day approached. And here we are, day 100. On the final day, I revealed my subtle way of showing everyone in the world that this land is now a part of the Roman Republic, with yours truly running the show. Before the end of the final day, I built up a temporary tower so I could watch my base in all its glory be bathed in rays of light from the setting sun. And that's how I survived 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore. It's the first hardcore world I've committed to, and I have to say, I really enjoyed
3
it.
hours.
I'm looking forward to the next 100 days, and I'm excited about the possibilities now that I'm established in this world. I really hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making
Oh yeah.
it. Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts, and any suggestions that you may have. I'll see you all in the next 100 days.
Peace out, brother.
Greetings, citizens. This is how I survived 200 days.
What the hell are you talking about?
Your IEEE membership means access to insurance products featuring exclusive group rates, flexible benefit.
Please say multiple times that
Your
Keep the email, you may lose your ability even have your channel terminated. I'd like to know my comment was that was how the fuck
and
am
lit the
I?
portal.
How the fuck
On
am I
day
comment a
28, I
bad comment?
stifled my whimpering and crying.
How the fuck? Pieces of shits. Where? Fucking fags. Spam deceptive practices and scams policies. Oh. Was it because I said please subscribe to my channel? Pieces of shit.
Entrusting God with today.
Yes, I have asked God for this, and I've asked Him to show me this, and I'm working on this relationship. But you know, I feel so guilty. Guilty about what? Well, just guilty about my past. Have you asked God to forgive you? Yes. Has He forgiven you? Yes. He says, you know, He says very clearly in His Word, if we confess our sins, He's faithful and just to forgive us our sins, cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Did you ask Him to forgive you? Yes. Did He forgive you? Yes.
And lit the portal. On day 28, I stifled
I'm
my
not
whimpering
testing
and
shit.
crying long enough to walk through the nether portal. Until I get full enchanted diamond armor.
Get the fuck out of here, faggot. Bro, I said be please sit back. I'm gonna see if that's what it is. Motherfuckers don't tell you.
And lit the portal. On day 28, I stifled my whimpering and crying long enough to walk through.
Yeah, I think that is it.
Hey guys, well,
Hackers deal with these idiots.
hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lilac-C, or if you want, you can just call me Lilac. If it's okay, let's get out of here, please. Oh, okay, so my axe broke, and I'm gonna have to punch the rest of this tree. This is going to take me. Okay, guys, so now that I'm back home, I think. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lilac-C, or if you want, you can just call me Lilac. And for today's video, we are starting our Better Minecraft series. Hey guys.
Oh, fuck you.
With the Sonic 2%
Fuck you.
deal,
I'm gonna deal with those motherfuckers too. To protect the community, would you discover the comments you've left may violate community guidelines? I'm gonna fucking deal with you idiots. Fucking niggers.
True or false? If you fill a video's title, description, or tags with terms or names, such as the names of celebrities, that are unrelated to the video, that could result in the video being removed. The answer is true. Spam, scams, and other deceptive practices that take advantage of the YouTube community aren't allowed on YouTube. Let's take a look at a few examples. A creator uploads a video with a thumbnail showing celebrities from a popular late-night TV show. The video does not contain the late-night clip and instead is a screen directing viewers to another website. In another video, a comedian uploads their latest comedy routine. At the end of the video, the creator encourages fans to check out their comedy website, which is linked in the description. Do either of these videos violate our community guidelines? Yes. The first video violates our spam policy. Be sure to only share links when they're relevant to the video, add value to viewers, and don't trick people into visiting other websites.
Go fuck
But what
yourself.
about posting the same
Fucking
comment multiple times? Would that be okay? To learn that and more, go to the YouTube Help Center
You're a
article on
nigger.
spam,
Oh,
scams,
someone
and
cut
deceptive
you,
practices.
bitch.
Click here or the
That'd
link
be
in the
nice.
description. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lilac-C, or if you want, you can just call me Lilac. And for today's video, we are starting our Better Minecraft series. This will be episode 1, and my goal for this series is to take the game at a very slow pace and get to enjoy all these beautiful, amazing mods the pack has to offer. If you would like to play the pack yourself, I will leave a link to it
Okay. You deal with these cunts so goddamn hard, they're not gonna like it.
I survived 200 days in Minecraft Hardcore. If you haven't yet,
Hackers,
I
you know
recommend
what to
checking
do
out my
to get
first 100
stupid.
days video to see how we got here. I made some new goals to keep on track for these 100 days. Number 1, get an Elytra and take to the skies. Number 2, create multiple item farms to increase my holdings in valuable resources. And number 3, build a permanent home and market area for my villager clubs. Be sure to subscribe to be notified when new videos come out, and leave me a comment letting me know what you think of these 100 days. I'm hoping you enjoy these longer videos. Ideally, it's something you can watch while doing housework, studying, or my personal favorite, drifting into an afternoon nap on the couch. If you end up watching all the way to the end, know that you are a legend and an honorary legionary. Let's get to it. Excuse me? That keeps juking me. Look out, boys, the bed burglar is here. What, does it make you uncomfortable when I follow you with an axe? Just don't misbehave, and we'll be fine. Hot day, huh, fellas? Oh, boy. Yeah. What are you looking at? Uh-oh. Okay. That was a little too close to home. What a beautiful morning. That rainbow. No. You are an idiot. You should actually probably get the high ground. I have the high ground. 200 days, and I need to remember what I was doing. It's actually been a couple days since
I wanna play
I've been in this world, and
tonight.
I need to remember what's going on and what the plans are. Not today, but soon. A lot of, honestly, this 100 days is going to be about cleaning up the base and adding a bit more to it. I know we spent so much time on the nerds over there getting the enchanted gear that we wanted to get. And I'm happy with that, but I do think I want to do some cleanup. So, like, for example, I don't know if I want this bamboo farm here. The farms will probably stay, but I don't know about the stuff over here. Oh, that was graceful. I'm also not a huge fan. I mean, this is fine. All of the villager stuff. It's been a while. I don't know if I like this as something for my base overall, or for long term, I guess I should say. So while this works and while it's okay, I'm actually thinking instead we might want to kind of just remove all of this, including the villager breeder, because I don't know how
I'm
many
gonna
more
sleep in a
actually
little
need.
bit.
But yeah, I'm thinking we get rid of all of that, clear all this place out, and then actually connect to my house, probably coming off to the right side here with all this area, and make sort of a Roman market area. So that's my thought that we'll give a shot. But, you know, lots of plans, lots of things I want to do. We'll get to it overall. But honestly, the first thing is I don't really know what is around the base aside from across the ocean, because we know that we're going to go to the end portal, or the shore, and I haven't been in that direction. I haven't really been in that direction. I haven't looked around the ocean that's here, so I want to be able to explore and see what's around these areas. I just don't want to do it by, you know, walking. I would much rather be able to fly. I'm kind of thinking that might be the first thing that we do is try to get the Elytra. Yeah, so I say we do that. Let's head to the end. Let's get ourselves an Elytra. That's going to make the next 600 days a lot easier. Look at little squid. Oh, it's a little ankle-biting goober with a shovel. Why can't I hit you? Unbelievable. Get back. Get back. You almost sound like a
Get back to
creeper.
where you once belong. Get back, Jojo.
At least I hope so. Let's do this. Should we get more ender pearls? I mean, seeing as we're
What?
here. Hey, buddy. With looting, this will be helpful. Let's do this. Set a trapdoor, smack you in the head, crawl on in. And look at that. Here we are. Whoa. Oh, there you are. Get a bit of this. Oh, man, that was close. I did not think it dropped away that quickly. Didn't need that. It's like day 2 of this video. I did not need that scare. Oh. Hooray. Excuse me, sir. You're in my way, sir. Excuse me. Didn't think this through, didn't think this through. He almost knocked me off. I was not thinking about that. Oh, why do I do these things to myself? If I'm being honest, I really don't like exploring the end. This is not my idea of a good time. I just want to find an end city, grab an Elytra, and grab some Shulky boys so I've got some better storage. Not to mention, this whole process of bridging over the nothingness really makes me sweat behind the knees. What do we have here? That actually looks really cool. The shader's on. I don't know that I've seen it like that before. I'm not seeing an end ship though, and I don't like that. Hey guys. Ooh. Oh no. Don't. There we go. Come on. Gotcha. Thank you. I am wondering who it was that was over at Mojang that just said, you know what, this, and bear with me here, this would be the best enemy to add to Minecraft. Let's get a box and just like make it shoot popcorn at you. And then everybody around's like, oh, that's a great idea. That sounds so perfect. We're gonna add that right away. Oh, and also it's gonna make puking sounds constantly. Oh yeah, great note, great note. Is that pointless to come up here? Is there nothing? Wonderful. These do no damage, you're just annoying. I hate it. No.
What the fuck is
Oh
it?
yeah,
What the?
water kind of negates levitation. Oh no! Look at all of them! Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Let's go for it. You next, bud. Come here. Look at all the popcorn floating around me. This is madness. This is truly... That's actually not bad. I mean, I already got 2 I'm fine with, but... I'll take them. It's pretty cool how water basically just makes it...
I had to see this, damn it.
Nope, I need that. Thank you. Okay, I'm sure there's more shortcuts for that guy. Actually, get him from here. Yeah, as I was saying, I kinda don't want to go around. I'd rather just move on and... I got 13 shulker shells, that's pretty good. I'd rather just go and find an end ship. I don't think I brought this up yet, but I am terrible at MLG water buckets. Hello? What are you just doing? Alright, but we're gonna try anyway. Let's go. Look at that. See, I told you I'm awesome at this. I have not seen anything in a while, and I'm not liking that. Ooh, so that is a long way to bridge. I don't want to do it. Okay. Let's gather a ton. Let's get it over with. Alright, I got 3 stacks that, I don't know, what do you guys think? 3 stacks of endstone to get me from here to there? I don't know about that. I mean, I've got the planks to fall back on, so I think we'll be alright. I got plenty of
took
other
me
blocks.
down
That's
without you, silence
This must be
me.
worth it. I didn't notice that before. I am glad I decided to do this. I did not notice that that was there. I don't feel so bad about this now. We're gonna do this. Finish this trip to the Outlands. Whew. Made it. Oh, and look at that beautiful sight. Oop, sorry, that was an accident. Didn't need to make eye contact. I typically try to avoid that. Thank you. Come here, you. Ooh, nice. Wow. That pretty dang good. Like, yeah. Yep. That's awesome. Oh, wow. I think, and this is just a guess, I think there might be one outside. Maybe 2. Oh no. That was a mistake, and that could have been a real costly one. I am very thankful for feather falling. How did I had my shield up? How did that hit me? Explain that to me, please. Ooh, okay. That's a shovels. Now, grab the elytra, and we are no longer a mere mortal. We can take to the skies. I'm actually not going to use it yet. I would feel much better if I had mending and unbreaking on that before we started using it. Make sure this boy doesn't fall. Hello. Thank you. Now with that, I think we're ready to get out of here. Alright, time for a leap of faith. I don't really care what's up there, to be honest. I'm not interested. I've got what I want. And that is the elytra. So let's head on back. Yoink. Ooh yeah, that was smooth. I love it. Finally go home. I don't really want to come back to the end for a bit. I am kinda done with this. Alright, back in. Get home, enchant this bad boy, and make some rockets. Whee! That's kinda pretty. Nice moonlit row across the sea. I'm feeling romantic. Are you feeling romantic? This is a problem though. It can't be called a elytra. What do we call it? What about something for Icarus? Like if we were gonna go by that, what about like bird feathers plus wax? How do we feel about that? I might be coming back to change that at a later date, but for the time being, this is my bird feathers plus wax. You know we gotta take this thing for a test drive. Didn't even have to go to my mop grinder. Are we ready to take to the skies? Yes, we are. Beautiful. This is gonna make everything that we want to do over the next, 95 days or so much easier. Oh. Already finding stuff too, look at that. 3 gold. Ooh. We will be coming back to say hi to all of you. I need to get a totem pretty soon. Alright, successful first short distance from the base, and we already found an outpost. We can set up a raid farm. That's already one thing checked off. We've already got the elytra, and we can move on to our next priorities. And speaking of priorities, what is it we want to do next? It is raining. Wonderful. That's a good omen. I actually do want to clean up the base a little bit. I think it's going to just make me feel a lot better if I go around cleaning up some of the things that I know are going to be here long term and getting myself prepared for more permanent setup. You know what I forgot to do that's going to help with moving a lot of this stuff? Why no, Legion, what did you forget? Shulker boxes, of course. We need to move stuff around the base. This is going to make it 10 times easier. Might help us sane if we die. Beautiful. So I filled a couple of the shulkers. Oh, hey, puss. And as you can see, I got a couple 2-tree dirt. And that's because I need to terraform this whole area. I don't like how it's just a steep drop off there, and this is all kind of messed up where the bamboo farm was. And it's the same thing over here. This just does not look nice. So unfortunately, we're probably going to end up having to change around what my farms are just a bit. But I do want this all to look a little bit nicer, so that's probably going to be today. Lots of terraforming. So we'll see how it goes. And so I got to it, spending the entire day working on terraforming this corner of my base. I began by placing torches down, so when I covered this area, hopefully mobs wouldn't spawn in the ground. I went pretty simple, building up the ground in layers near my tree farm, so I had a way down, and then a steep drop-off. I covered the ground area, and realized I'd have a nice new large flat area that's actually for a farm, a build, something else would probably go here, at least now I had the space. As I wrapped up, it was already nighttime, so I placed torches around to discourage any roving mobs that might want to try to take over my new area, and went to bed. Sorry, watermelons, but I need to change up the configuration over here a little bit. More pickaxe mining for you. And yes, I know, there's easier ways to do this, I just only have Soak Touch on my pickaxe currently. I removed about half of my watermelon farm so it wouldn't overhang and mess up the new vibes I was going for. I used the same layering to connect my farms higher up to the edge of the water that was lower down. I could finally walk to my sugarcane farm rather than launching myself off of this this. It is definitely a lot nicer. There's not as many kind of pitfalls and places you have to fall down now. Kind of strange how it just goes straight down to the tree farm. I'm not sure I want to keep this here. That might actually go, and you know, we might actually replace it with some kind of a harbor or a place where we can keep our boats. But overall, I do like this a lot better. We can always, you know, expand the watermelon farm back out if we need to, and at least we didn't have to touch any of these farms. That still looks good to me, so I think we're good. And by the way, we never named these two. I've had them, I don't even know, like early on in the first 100 days, so leave me a comment, let me know what these two look like, what should their names be. If a comment gets a decent amount of likes, or there's just one that I happen to like, in the next 100 days video, I will name these two. Beautiful. Alright. Smell the zombies roasting. Alright, so I know I said I was going to work on some farms, in particular a creeper farm to use for my Elytra. But now that I've done some of the terraforming and started cleaning up things around the base, I kind of have the itch for that. So I think instead what we're going to start with is this area back here. What my thoughts are about this is that we could clean up and clear out all of these villager stalls and the villager breeder and turn it into a sort of structure that spans this whole area next to my house for easier access. It's also kind of odd the way it's set up and facing away from everything else. So similar design, a little bit grander, a little more detail to it, but I want to move it over here and make them a house for a villager breeder, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to play around with a couple things and see what makes the most sense or what looks good, and then we'll check back in and take a look. Probably should grab some resources first for the build, and then we can get started. So satisfying. Ooh, lucky apple. Just trying something out here to see what will work. I'd like to have a kind of open pathway leading to this new villager area. So, how do we feel about that? Do we think kind of simple? Don't know about the bottom. We might need to change that. Do I like it better stripped? Yeah, I think I do. This where the ankle biters were coming from? In the first 100 days? He just jumped right over my fence. I don't know how that happened, but mystery solved, I guess. I don't know how I feel about this. It still needs some work. Here's my concern with this. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but each villager basically takes up one block wide currently. If I were to do this with all of them,
We've got a lot of gold, so we'll have to do that tomorrow.
around, that's a lot.
Or, yeah, probably tomorrow. Oh, 4, 5, 6,
I might sit on this a bit and go work on something else while I
8 more days, and then we got 2 more days.
I'm always interested to see, you know, what kind of styles people enjoy.
26th is when I'm supposedly might be able to
So let me know if you like this or if there's something you would do a little bit different. I think I
download the game.
decrease the amount of space that's going to take up, or that these are going to take up. I don't want to have enough space. I keep these guys at first. Let the size a bit smaller going forward. So let's give that a try and see how it looks. I thought I heard 3 leads approaching. I don't think I need any of that stuff, unfortunately for you. You're not watching, are you? Alright, looks like they're looking away. Think I can get away with this? Oh no, no. Gross, gross. I don't know what happened to that trader, he was just here. I'm actually liking this. I think with a bit more work and adding something maybe a little bit over the top, overarching, this will probably work out long term. And plus now my villagers aren't going to accuse me of abusing them and not giving them enough space and wow. You guys are creeping me out. What are you watching? Okay, so I'm trying something with campfires and I actually like that. I think it adds a nice bit of detail to it. Also nice, it's nice how the colors are a bit different on the top and bottom. I think I like that. I think I'm going to go with it. Fun part is getting to these before it burns down everything I've done so far. Come on. I'm starting to get low on dark oak. I'm using a lot of it in this, and I do not think I replanted any of the dark oak trees at my tree farm, so we need to correct that. I also only apparently have 4 saplings. I thought I had more, so this will be fun. Oh, yes. Why is it lopsided? That's weird. Need more saplings, please. I see you. Come on. Come on, I just need 1 more sapling. comes down to a science. Excuse me? That keeps juking me. Come here, come on. You are a slippery one. Get back here. No. This is for the villagers, not for you. Stay back. Not for you. Thank you. Oh, I used too many leaves. Yeah, I know. You can never have too many leaves. There we go. Beautiful. Close. Perfect. I think we're at least done with this, this collection of villager huts. Actually, wow, looking at that looks really cool with all the lanterns. I like the way it's lighting up, especially looking at it at night. I do think we're going to have to add some more detail to this, and I want to do some more stuff with landscaping, but for now, I'm liking how this is turning out. Let me know what you think, by the way, as we're going through this. You know, maybe just call out the day and what I'm working on, and let me know if you like it or if you change it around at all. Actually, you know what? This has been bugging me. The Endermen have been coming by and stealing my dirt, so I'm going to have to head out there and fix that. It's so much easier doing it that way than it is trying to climb up here. And I hear mobs. I shouldn't. Did I not light this up enough? Yeah, I didn't. Hey, bud. Oh, bow fight? I win. Missed this little corner. A nice artificial cave. You were wondering what it looks like beneath the hill that my SPQR sits on. This is it. So now that I've built it out this far, I think I actually do have one more thing that I'm going to need to do. And that was that, you know, I've got my house on that side, row of fallen villager stalls, upgraded villager stalls. I wanted to have a house over here for the villagers, and that would be essentially the villager breeder. I'm going to put it there. I need to terraform. I could do another row coming out this way to make a almost like a sectional, an L-shaped sectional, but I don't know where I want the villager breeder. I could always do it in this larger area, especially since I'm going to be getting rid of all of that, but I'll need to make a decision. Okay, so pretty soon I'm moving all of my plebs over there, and I think the first thing I want to do is steal all of their beds. If I take their beds now, then at nighttime they're just going to want to find one, and if I put them in the new spot, I'm hoping that means they'll all just run over to the new area. I know it's not going to work out that way, but it's the best I've got right now. I need to be sneaky about stealing their beds too, because I don't want them getting out. That wasn't so bad. Look out, boys, the bed burglar is here. Something feels very uncomfortable about this, just going in, stealing beds. I got this guy watching me. Yeah, I'm stealing beds. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, didn't think so. Right, all the beds are removed. I think I missed a few. They're still stuck in there, but that doesn't matter. May as well just use the rest of the time to clear out some of these walls. Here you go. Nice cozy little sleeping spot, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. They can get in and out of there. That won't be a problem. Better not be anyway. Okay, it's time. I think I'm gonna go first for the farmer. I think he's the one I'm gonna put in the bigger stall since he's the only one I have. I also realized I probably made a mistake. I put down all the beds. I should not have done that because he's gonna want to run to one of the random ones and not into the one I wanted to go in, but we'll try either way. Oh, what's wrong, nerds? You haven't been sleeping? I mean, it's nighttime. You should be sleeping right now. What's the problem? Somebody steal all your beds? He's gonna go straight for my bed, isn't he? Ooh, look at that. He actually went where I wanted him to go. Unbelievable. Good job. Kind of looks like a coffin, doesn't it? Nah, I'm sure he'll be alright. It's gonna be incredible if they all go exactly where I want them to go. Why are you suddenly being helpful? I'm also kind of trying to organize these as I go. So, for example, I started with a mending villager, then I'm breaking. I've got the efficiency one that I want to bring now. Where are you going? There we go. Figure out how to get out of there. But that way it makes a little bit more sense to me, logically. You know, the typical first enchantments you'd get, followed by more specific ones. Yeah, it finally happened. This guy's definitely under my bed. I don't think so, buddy. Not gonna happen. Okay, where did you come from? That reminds me, they keep falling from over here. I need to make that wall higher up so that things stop jumping over from my
Well,
hill.
let me see if I can,
It was working for a while, but this guy needs a little encouragement to go in the right direction. There There you go. Good job. Oh, good boy.
HD.
It became daytime and I couldn't tell because it's raining. So instead of a bed, I'm having to tempt this villager nerd with a delicious job block. Don't you want it? It's right over here. A little further. Yep. Go on. Keep moving. Keep moving. Get in there. Go on. Go on. Yes. Gotcha. So I'm doing a bit more terraforming, and I realized
I love this character though.
This doesn't look like a whole lot from this side, but if you get closer, yeah. The inspector comes by. I don't think I'm gonna get a pass on this one. Need more dirt. Alright, we're gonna finish terraforming, and then I promise I'm gonna figure out what to do with the rest of the villager area. Ooh, I was just about to say, any baddies? Looks like there is. You go. Alright, I guess we're going in. Ooh. Hello. Goodbye. Alright, this seems a bit safer, that I can walk over here without falling. And it has a nice little pool with iron and copper. Ooh, wow, does that go on for a bit? Ooh, yeah, it does. Huh? Actually comes out outside. That's a handy little escape tunnel if I need it. And okay, so villagers, I think what I'm gonna do is just expand this. I have 12, and there were 15 over here. So I think I just
Oh,
added
sweet guys.
the space that I have, and we figure out what to do for a house.
Well, I'm gonna try to plan this on paper when I wake up, and
I'll get to expanding.
we'll figure out something.
Skeletons, like every second. I missed a spot somewhere when I was placing down torches.
Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.
At the